Dude, I'm glad you're here. Where's your brother?
How should I know? Am I my brother's keeper?
Yes, you are. Anyway, look, we got this new season coming up. You know, we've been dibbling and dabbling, and now it's time for us to get real about this WineNoholic thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Look, I got 2 grapes in mind for this season. One is Merlot, the other one, Chardonnay. What you think?
I likes. Merlot is good. And Chardonnay on a hot day? Love it.
I'm gonna go on ahead and go over to Western Reserve, chop it up with Dave, let him give us a little bit of knowledge behind these grapes, make sure that's what I want to do. Then, if I like them, I'm gonna give me 2 bottles. 1 Chardonnay, of course.
You gotta think. Oak or unoaked?
I know.
And Chablis.
All right, look, I'm gonna get them bottles. You need to find your brother.
I'll try.
Get him here. You need to have him here, all 3 of us. We can't do this without him. He popping in every now and then, but don't nobody know who he is, dude. We need to do this with him. We can't do this without him. I'm just saying. Okay, next time you need to show up on time too. You was a little late your damn self.
What do you got in that cup?
Why you worried about what's in my cup?
What do you got in that cup?
You should have showed up on time. Shit, your ass should have been here yesterday when we supposed to be going over this. For real.
Wine hog?
Then you would have had you some.
Wine hog?
Whatever.
You suck.
While Muechee looks for Manny, Marc talks to Dave from Western Reserve Wines.
So I stopped in because I needed a Chardonnay and a Merlot for an episode I'm shooting, as I was telling you yesterday. I see you have 4 wines. Can we go over them? And give me some tasting notes. So, you know.
Very good. Chardonnay has really taken off in the last 4 decades. It has its origins in Burgundy, a small area in France. Kind of emerged somewhere in the Middle Ages, we think, in maybe around the 16th century. It emerged as its own variety. And it pretty much stayed there for a few hundred years. It didn't grow much outside that region. Beginning in the 1960s, probably because of American palates, it began to be planted very, very widely. It's now made its way to, many other parts of the world: Latin America, South America, New Zealand, Australia. It's a very prevalent grape. And one of the reasons that it has spread so easily and so much is that it's very adaptable, which means it grows well in hot, warm, and cold climates. Now, as a result of that, it takes on different nuances. In a cooler climate, it will have more subtle aromas of lemon, maybe some light tree fruit like apple, maybe pear. As it gets warmer to hot, it can take on stone fruit aromas like peaches, apricots, and then a hot climate will generally yield wine, a Chardonnay with more tropical fruit notes like mango and pineapple. So it runs the gamut. And then depending on how it's vinified, you might get a touch of the oaky notes, which will be perceived on the palate as vanilla. Some baking spices, that's what tends to come through. It may have some nuttiness and some toasted bread notes on it as well. And then of course you get the buttery notes as well, and some bigger expressions, mostly from Napa, in that vein as well.
And I see you have 2 of them.
I have 2. The first, one of my favorites, William Fèvre out of Chablis. This is going to be a representative of that very austere, linear, cool climate aromas. It's got some apple, maybe some light pear notes on it as well, but it's steely, high acidity. None of the buttery notes or a lot of the oak notes that you tend to get in some California wines.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful expression of Chardonnay. And really the complete opposite of that, and your viewers might recognize this, Rombauer. Classic kind of Americanized style of Chardonnay, big, oaky, buttery. So depending on how you're going to serve these, it's really going to depend on what you want to choose, or something in between those. Like if you're having sushi or um, shellfish, something like that, you're going to want to go with the Chablis. Anything with oak and buttery is going to contrast and conflict with those primary flavors. Something in the middle, something like chicken with a cream sauce is going to be able to handle a more robust expression of a good Chardonnay. If you want something really big, Rombauer is the way to go. Like a big risotto with mushrooms and things like that. That's probably what you're going to want to pair with that kind of a meal.
All right, that actually sounds good for today. Okay.
Yeah. My personal favorite is more on the old world style, what is expressed throughout different parts of Burgundy. This William Febvre, tremendous producer, and that's really a great wine.
Yeah. So a lot of people associate Burgundy with being high priced. Is that necessarily the case with the Chardonnays?
It tends to be with a Chablis. So yes, this bottle is $55, I believe, but we do have some good expressions of Chardonnay from Burgundy in the $20 range as well. They can be found. Not so much a Chablis.
So you don't have to break the bank.
You don't have to break the bank.
Got it.
And you get a lot of bang for your buck in white Burgundy as well.
Oh, Chablis are good.
They are good. Chablis is good, but just any. I have a lot of white, or we have a lot of white Burgundies over there that are very drinkable, very affordable.
Okay. All right. Yeah, just for some odd reason people think Burgundy is expensive.
Well, you can get
tend to hear that, especially when it comes to the reds.
Bottles and thousands of dollars. There's no doubt. But
only if at the lottery.
All right.
All right. Okay. So you have two other wines, two Merlots.
Two Merlots or Merlot-based wines, yeah. Merlot also originated in France, in the area of Bordeaux. It gets its name from the French word for blackbird, merlet, which tend to feast on these wines or these grapes as they ripen, and that's where it takes its name. And again, it's spread worldwide. It tends to prefer more moderate climates. It doesn't really do well in a cold climate, nor a very hot climate. It's just they're just not built or wired for that per se. So moderate climates are generally the way to go. In a cooler climate, you always get almost like cherry and red plum notes. When you open the bottle, you smell plums. That's almost what I always perceive in a cooler climate or a moderate climate Merlot. Something from the New World, maybe from Napa, you'll get like blackberry, cooked blackberry notes along that line. So you get more darker, deeper, more brooding fruits in a warmer environment. So the first one is a classic Bordeaux blend, Chateau de Malartic. This is their second wine of a very renowned estate. This is 80% Merlot with other parts Cabernet Sauvignon and maybe some Cab Franc in with the blend. But it's just a brilliant, lovely wine. I would have something, I've loved this with pork, like pork tenderloin. It always tends to work well. You know, think about a glazed pork with a pork glaze on it or a plum glaze on it, something like that. These are brilliant wines for that type of a meal.
Okay.
Our second example, a classic producer in Napa, Robert Foley, whom I've had the pleasure of meeting. Excellent winemaker. These are fabulous wines. A little bit bigger. They tend to be a little more plush on the palate. This is something you'd want to have with ribs or with some type of a steak with peppercorns. You know, this is a bigger, more robust style of a Merlot. And, thinking about aging and price, again, these are planted in many parts around the world. I've seen Merlots, one from Italy for $1,000 a bottle. It's called Masetto.
Okay.
And that was the most recent price that I saw on one. And these can be very entry-level wines. You can find a good $20 Merlot that I think of as your Tuesday night wine, something you have with pizza, or just a simple pasta with some type of basic, tomato sauce. And they just work lovely with things like that, to the super elegant and all the way up there. They're very very good wines all across the board.
So that one's heavier in tannins than the Bordeaux?
I believe it. Yes, it is. I mean, he doesn't make Robert Foley doesn't make overly aggressive wines, but I could certainly show you some that are more tannic in origin, or based on what they are. I think you'd find both of these. You'll find some tannin on it because especially that one has some Cab Sauv in it. But they're still very approachable, easy to drink, and great with food.
Okay. So I'm assuming you would pick the Bordeaux over the.
My first instinct, again, I tend to veer old world in most of the wines that I drink to begin with, but not exclusively. But yeah, for both of these wines, I do very much enjoy the old world styles.
Yeah,
in general.
Kind of the same way. Whites, I'm just getting there.
Sure.
Reds, because they seem to be more balanced.
Yeah.
Personally, to me, they seem to be more balanced. Not to say that the California wines or any New World wine, whether it's South America or New Zealand, Australia, they make some very good wine.
They do.
But tradition, maybe that's what it is.
Well, old world wines are more nuanced. They're nuanced, and I think that's something I enjoy. Being able to, you get a flavor here, you get a flavor there, and you swirl it in the glass, and then something else comes up. And it's just, that's what I tend to like about old world wines. They're not in your face as much, and a little more elegant in general, than some new world expressions.
Well, I'm gonna have to make a choice on 2 bottles, one white and one red. So that's gonna be the hard part. Now, of course, I'm leaning more towards the old world. However, that sounded very interesting. I won't give it away when I'm pointing at it. Actually, both of these sounded very interesting. So I was thinking, because then that would kind of give a balance.
Mm-hmm. It would.
And I've never had either. Actually, the only thing I know of I've probably had is that.
You've had Robert Foley?
I'm almost certain.
Okay. Great wine.
Because the name is well known. At least here it is. I don't know about around the world, but here it's well known.
And he makes a great Chardonnay as well.
Ah, okay. But the other 3 I have not had.
Okay.
Ever.
Again, lean, steely, great acidity. Something you want to have with sushi or some type of seafood, shellfish. It works beautifully. Or even maybe even chicken with a very light cream sauce. I think it could hold up to that. But it's not any type of a steak wine or anything like a big chunk of pork. It's just not gonna work well as some other wines would.
Okay.
Other whites.
So I think Robert is going to be out because that pretty much gives the red. And this is majority Merlot, correct?
It is majority Merlot, but it does have Cab Sauv in there. I think it's 80 some percent Merlot, however.
So the Cab is just to smooth it out a little bit.
Cab will smooth it out, and because in general, Merlot is low acidic. It doesn't have a lot of acidity in it, so it may add a little bit of acidity and a little bit more depth to the overall wine. That's really why it's a good blender.
Okay, so I think that's going to be a go.
All right.
And I'm thinking more of this, and that one would be more oaky.
It's going to be oaky. It's going to be oaky in the sense you're not going to taste wood. You're going to taste vanilla. You're going to taste spice. That's how the oakiness tends to come out. But you are, because of the way they vinify it, you are going to get some buttery notes as well. And you think buttered popcorn at the movies. You really do get those kind of aromas. That's just the natural. That's the chemical signature that comes through in a buttery Chardonnay.
So I guess it's 2 lanes. I hear people, they either love it unoaked or unoaked. They either love that butteriness or they just don't. I don't know too many people to take both.
People generally will come in and say, I want an unoaked, non-buttery Chardonnay, or they don't, they want one in that trajectory. So yeah, it does tend to be kind of an either or for a lot of people.
I think we're gonna go with that one as well.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm interested in see what that tastes like.
I think it'll be an interesting experience. Maybe try pairing it with food as well, something that would work with that. I think you'd have a lot of fun with that.
Okay. Yeah, the bottle's pretty.
It is good.
It actually looks like an old world bottle.
It does a little bit, doesn't it?
But yeah, okay. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Till next time.
Absolutely.
All right. Gonna kill that before we go overboard. And it don't come out right. Too many takes might ruin it. It's like you keep putting salt in your dish before you know it, the bitch is salty. WineNoholic, baby. We changing the way wine entertainment is brought to you. I ain't gonna keep. I personally refuse to do the same dumb shit the rest of these clowns are doing. I see they jump on the bandwagon. Just wondering how long will it be before somebody jump on this one. Remember, y'all saw it here first. Oh.
When those copycats jump on the WineNoholic bandwagon and try to reproduce what we're doing over here, remember, you saw it here first. The only and original WineNoholic.
Yeah, that's how we're supposed to do it.
We're just getting started. We're warming up. Kind of like heating your coffee in the morning. WineNoholic, we're warming up. And when we get hot, remember, you were on the bandwagon first. Do I really want to say you were on the bandwagon? Remember, you followed us first.
I like that.
We're just warming up. And when the WineNoholic gets hot, remember, you followed us first.